G'day, Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs. It's a Rising Star Player Watch, and it's all about Cassius Tia, extended for 12 months yesterday, which I was so happy about. Tuesday, I was going off about this kid on the podcast, so here it is. We are going to look at some of his shining moments, mainly in attack. It's always hard to get you know, a lot of the defensive highlights out there, especially for guys who are playing on edges and that sort of thing. But this kid, what an absolute star. He's come across from the Roosters in 2024. He played in the Jersey Flegg grand final against the Bulldogs in 2023, where he was the halfback. They lost. He then moved across to the Bulldogs in 2024 and won as our halfback, controlled the game beautifully in that first half. 40-20s. The semi-final series was special, scoring tries, kicking field goals to win matches, just taking control wherever he could. He has an absolute future in this game. Reminds sort of body shape a little bit like Isaac Luke. It may not be, but that's just the perception I have. I think he could develop into a lock. He could develop into a hooker, but he's a halfback. And whilst he's playing centre at the moment, Phil Gould has said quite clearly on Twitter, on X, that when asked, Cassius is a 7. They see him as a 7. He's getting some minutes in Cup in the centres and doing a great job. And we expect him, to progress, and it won't take long. Now, when you're looking at him and his progression, the fact that he goes into that centre position and looks like one of the best centres we've got coming through, it just shows you his class and quality. Since moving to the centre position, the team's on a 3-win run. He did start that game, I think, in the halves against the Knights. There was some really good moments. They swapped him, and Drew was in the centres. They brought Drew back into 5'8", and him and Cassius swapped around. But I think Cassius got a really important 40-20 in that match late. He did, actually, which we got the win right in the dying moments, which was phenomenal. A word I love to use. And like he's just got all. He's got it all. Defensively, you want him to keep improving, but you can see the physicality that he's. New South Wales Cup isn't too fast for him. He's way above that class. Now, look, there's people who want to rush him in and put him in now. I've got mates who have said the same thing, but I think they're managing really well. We've got the prodigy in Mitch Woods in the top 30 on a 3-year deal. If it takes Mitch Woods 3 years to play first grade, that doesn't matter. They're going to manage these players under their own steam. They've got kids coming through in Harold Matts, which are really good. They've got kids coming through in SG Ball and in Jersey Flegg. They're bringing all the pathway players being signed from New Zealand, from combined high schools, from Queensland, pathways on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. And then you take into account all the local juniors, which their numbers are up, their participation's up. It's tough on them because you've got a lot of them which are, coming through all the different clubs. And a lot of them aren't going to make it. And the talent is growing there. They're getting better and better. And that's why the pathways are so important. And Cassius Tia, whilst he comes from that Roosters system, he was the halves in SG Ball with Ethan Strange. And both of these kids, to me, look like they're going to be, they have size about them, they've got skill, they're tough, and got a really good mindset. And we've seen how well Ethan Strange has played last year. Put a target on Carraz and forced him into error twice. Taken on Matty Burton and the like. These kids are very talented, and they were in the Roosters, right? They're not there anymore. And that strengthens our club. And this is great for Mitch Woods. It's great for Alex Conti and all the rest. To have these youngsters all competing hard. It's great for Joey O'Neill because only the best will make it. And whilst the Dogs have got a plan and they go out there with that plan and they've got an order of business with the players and who comes in for who and whatever else, it's up to the players to work that out at a certain point and put themselves in the positions. And when they get the opportunity, they take it. And this kid's taken it. They sit there and they put him on the bench. He comes on, just gets straight to work. He's happy to do that. Joey O'Neill's doing a great job at halfback. They're all combining well. Hutchison's experience, they're doing a good job. Then they say, oh yeah, we'll put you at centre. We need to get you some minutes, keep your fitness up. And he looks like the best centre in the club at different times. You know, when you've got the ability just to, as you're getting tackled, to get a ball out to your winger, or when you make a break and you're just able to just hold it up that last little bit to give your winger that extra time. We're going to see all that with the highlights. There's going to be plenty of highlights on this video, and we're going to get to them very shortly. He's had 7 line breaks assists and 7 try assists this season. He's had 3 line breaks himself. You know, kicking at 300 and 400 metres in games. Some of the games where he's come off the bench even. You know, whether he goes into centre, then they slip him into the halves and he takes a kick and kicks a 40-20. He's just great at that. He's just got so much patience and he's got time. But unlike a lot of other players that we can compare that have always got that time, he's got the swagger and toughness to go with it. He doesn't need protection from anyone out there. And I think there's a lot of deception in his game. He'll take the line on as a half. He'll get repeat sets. He'll keep it under control. He's willing just to, you know, put the ball in a corner and do everything he's been told. And put pinpoint accuracy on where he does stuff. He is the real deal, this guy. And get behind him. Get behind him. I'm predicting within 12 months. Could even be this year, we see this kid get a go in first grade. He'll do his role, and then we'll see it evolve from there. Very good player, great personality for rugby league, cool, calm, collected, and tough, skillful. I can just keep saying all these words, and they're all positive, and they all apply to Cassius Tia. So let's get his highlights ready, and we'll start having a look at that now. The highlights I'm about to show were put together by Andrew Macca. So Macca on X. I'll try and put his Twitter handle in the comments of this video. And make sure you get and support him. He is an absolute legend supporter. He's just talks about Bulldogs all day. He's quite funny as well, but is also articulate and just a great fan of the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs and overly patriotic as well. So follow him, and I'm sure he's going to go to bigger and better things as one of the best supporter pages I've seen, profiles that I have seen. So let's get these going, these highlights. I'll just have to turn the volume down a little bit probably. But let's go. Some of these highlights will have commentary, some won't. But thank you very much, Macca, for throwing this together.
The numbers on that left-hand edge, they're set up that way, the Dogs. Tia, dumbing, this time takes it himself off Cassius.
Here he goes. Off the left, off the right. Running threat. Don't know if he's going to pass. Look at this. Short ball to the second rower. Puts the bomb. This is against the Knights. And, you know, he's got the 4 on his back. Look at this ball. So he's playing down the right edge, setting it up for Jonathan Sewer. Look at this. Straight through. Watch him hold this up. Just, look, the pass was a bit behind Jeff Rowe, but just gave him enough time. And this is great to see. Oh, look at that. And the winger just finishes it off in the corner.
Good service for Hutchison. Finds Casius Tia on the outside. Couldn't get through the line.
I love this.
21 metres out. Arm up last tackle. Back it comes.
O'Neill back to the short side.
No, they put it through the hands down the short side. Inside, outside. Showtime.com.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Through the hands. Now they've got numbers out here. Wide to the left-hand side. In the corner. That's a try.
Just forcing the opposition. Just forcing that opposition to, you know, hang off. Because I don't know if he's going to run. I don't know if he's going to pass. And he just got such soft hands. What a good talent we have. That's just the attacking side of things. I'm going to play another clip now, which goes for about 4 minutes, which gives you a lot more. I'm not sure who put that together, but it is on YouTube. And so all credits to the person who made it, and we'll show it again. So here it is. It's the Rugby League Scout. This is back in 2024, playing Jersey Flegg, you'll find. That was in the grand final. We saw that already a couple of times. That was, I'm pretty sure that was in the prelim to get us into the grand final. Him and Joey O'Neill work really well together. Competing, always competing. Bomb put up by the Tigers. Here he goes. Look how happy he was. 10 minutes. Running onto the ball like a front rower. Beautiful play. Actually, no, he was backing up then, sorry. Backing up again, always backing up. Little chip kick, perfect placement. There's AJ. Beautiful ball. Him and Afawalo had some good moments together too. Look at that ball. Look, he had so many options. I know Fiji was struggling. He's just got it all. Surrounded by a lot of good talented players with him. Always on the ball, always near it. Perfect placement for the bomb. You know, he's just got so much time. Gets a good ball for Moyle on the inside to Luke Smith, and it's shut the gate. Just keeping them guessing the whole time. Never out of it. Oh, I think that's Callum Donaldson he just put through there. You can see like his short kicking game and his long kicking game are just a class above. That's special. That was absolutely special. Some good edits on this. This is well done as well. for the rugby league scout. And there's little Mickey Gabriel. Or was that Dan? No, that was Danny. Perfectly timed kick. Although that was probably a knock on. Joey digs in. And here he goes. But he had the last little pass on that, which was... Look at that. Catch and pass. I think that was his New South Wales Cup debut last year. Putting Skelton through. Perfect. So there you go. There's also more highlights from when he was at the Roosters. So there's a video on that as well. So you can go back and watch how he dominated as a Roosters player. But look, there's some leaguenews.com or .co. An article they put in November last year from Jess Malloy talking about in a captivating tale of rising stars and tough decisions, the Canterbury Bulldogs are facing a dilemma as their pool of talented playmakers grows deeper. And that is exactly what it's all about. You are sharpening iron with iron and, you know, setting a good standard in first grade. That's why they went and bought all of those experienced players. Players that were skillful, both can play both sides of the field. Players that can play multiple positions, that come from good systems, and then they get these juniors, some of the best, and it's just an absolute dogfight, pardon the pun, to get to the next step, and that's exactly what they need. And in a way, you know, you get the ones which are identified as the next big thing, and they've still got to prove it all. You know, they've still got to prove it all. They get their development, and then they've got to execute it in the big games. And then it sort of takes the pressure off these other guys a little bit. So I wouldn't look too far ahead as far as, you know, who's been signed in the top 30 or who's on development, who's on New South Wales Cup trial, who got a 3-year deal, who got a 1-year deal. You know, sometimes the managers only want that. They don't want to commit to a long term because they know what they've got. And the player that they've got has so much belief and ability. I guess longer deals with more money give you that security if you get an injury, because that's where it's all can fall down. But I think this kid, injury or no injury, will be making himself a good living and representing his family, his culture, and our club or the club that he's at. Hopefully ours for a long time in the best way possible. So he's a skilled halfback, 2 years senior to Mitch Woods. And he's been making waves with remarkable performances in Jersey Flegg last year. You know, we could talk about him all day. Go and have a look at the articles, Google his name, read up on him. Go look at all the highlights. There'll be plenty out there, and this will be another one. And more importantly, if you don't have if you can afford Bar TV, $20 a month. I know it's a lot of money in today's society when you got to pay for so many other things. But if you get a chance to do that and go and watch these kids, you can watch all their games. Sometimes there's no commentary, but they've got a video of the game. You can really see how well the Dogs are doing. And look, even in games where we lose, for example, like the Harold Matt side, I think only won 2 or 3 games this year, but there was probably 5 or 6. There's probably plenty of matches where they didn't lose by much, or where they had leads, and then certain things happened on the defensive side of things. But you just see the amount of talent in the team and different individuals within the side where you go, this kid's going to continue to progress. And that's what it's all about. So it's not always about winning the comps. You can't win them all every year. The comps we want to be winning every year is the NRL Premiership. It's nice to win these junior comps. It's great, but we want to win the NRL, and the best way to do that is to do what the Bulldogs are doing. And you know, with such a small junior system, which is borders with so many others, only 12 clubs, always punching above their weight, always producing players, and that get to play NRL or get very close to it. We're very, very lucky. And whilst it's hard on the families and the kids in those junior levels when they're bringing all these kids from New Zealand and Fiji now and everywhere else, the big picture for the club and the big picture for these junior pathways from the locals is that it's only going to make them better, and it only enables them to, they've got to strive for more. And when our team, when they took funding away from the Bulldogs juniors for a little bit at some point, and, we had issues with the NRL side and that sort of thing, that wasn't necessarily the case. He still had a lot of talent, and they still had some players that they were signing up, but it was costing them a lot of money to keep them. And we were getting pillaged even though we weren't doing well. So the Dogs have always produced good juniors and will continue to do so. And hopefully with the addition of these pathways, that encourages even a higher level of performance from those young junior ages. And there's a bunch of these kids as well that I've got to add that play in these combined high schools games, and they're so passionate about their school teams as well. So if you get to watch any of that footage as well, I think you can get some of that on Bar TV. Definitely give it a watch, because you'll see a number of names that are playing in Bulldogs that you'll see pop up in different schools, and some of them are playing against each other and that sort of stuff. Sorry about that. But that's Cassius Tia. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm confident this kid's going to make his debut. I wouldn't gamble that it's going to be this year, but I wouldn't put it past him. But yeah, next year I think he'll be definitely knocking on the door. And, they're just working so well together. They look fantastic out on the field. And as they develop that confidence in defence and prove that they can be trusted to go up into that NRL, make their tackles, do their job, that's when they'll get their debut. And that's when, they'll be utilised. Sometimes it'll be games where, when we know we're playing finals or we're happy where we're sitting, they might bring someone in a little bit quicker and give them a taste. But outside of that, anytime they play NRL, as we've seen, we haven't seen a player come into our squad since last year, like 2024 and 2025. Every player that they've debuted and brought in has looked like they're supposed to be there. We have one player with a really poor play that's now left the club. But, outside of that, they've all looked the part and all look like they were meant to be there. And that is a really positive thing for our Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs club. That, you don't deserve to play first grade. You're either ready to play first grade or you're not. And when you're ready, you'll get named. So, well done to the club. Well done to the Bulldogs. And well done to Cassius Tia. And Cassius is a pretty special name. Remember Cassius Clay? Well, maybe we might have one of the big-time Cassius superstars emerge in Cassius Tia. Thanks for listening. Go the Dogs. And thank you so much for your support. Like and subscribe. And yada, yada, yada.